Welcome to today's collective reading. This reading is timeless. So when you encounter it, it is not coincidence, it is synchronization, it's synchronicity. This reading is coming off of a general reading where there was quite a bit of mirroring going on between two different sides to a situation or dynamic. So if you would like some more insight, maybe a little more detail into other dynamics present within this energy, I would recommend looking into that general collective reading. And then there's also a collective reading for the masculines wanting some insight into their feminines. This particular reading is for the feminines seeking a little more insight into what's going on into their masculines' perspective. So we'll begin with their thoughts. Their thoughts right now, there's a lot of conflict. There's a lot of issues. More than likely, they've been through some pretty rough things, and they have some baggage they bring to it, and they could be self-sabotaging right now with their thoughts, which is clarified here with, an Eight of Swords. They feel controlled. They feel manipulated. Not necessarily by you, but they feel manipulated by the patterns and the issues and the conflicts, and it's possibly even affected their mood, their emotional experience. And it's possibly something that's been going on for quite some time in their life. So right now their thoughts are, they feel trapped and they feel like they want to break free. They're receptive to the truth. They want to understand it. They want to learn. They want to break free of this pattern between being controlled and being sabotaged. Whether it's them controlling them or others controlling them sabotaging themselves or others sabotaging themselves. They want to break this cycle. That's where their thoughts are. They want to break free. And over this is they're constantly, stubbornly trying to find this freedom by calming their emotions. The insight I get into this is they're very, very used to being so very controlled with their emotions, because the few times that they finally couldn't control their emotions, there was so much emotion backed up that it was like just an overwhelming amount that was out of proportion for the situation. And it reinforced for them that they needed to really control that. What I think could be helpful for them here would be to allow some emotion, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bit here, a little bit there, especially if it's counterbalanced with a positive emotion. So allow them to maybe see love present within an adult conversation, one that's a little more real, right? But have fun, be silly, be strategic. Allow them to have that structure with which to reconstruct the dam around their emotion, right? Allow them to understand that they can engage that deep emotion and still be in control. Help them find that balance. And if that's not necessarily for you to do, this is something that they are learning, possibly through your modeling or straight from the divine, actually. It could be from their higher self that they're learning this truth of being able to balance intense, deep emotion and yet not be swept away in it, and be able to reconstruct that control, that safety. Because masculines, for the sake of just language, definitely feel free to invert the gender label. There's like a responsibility to take care of your world around you, and you feel that responsibility. So if this has been the experience where when they finally do engage in their emotion, it's way amplified beyond what the situation would call for, than what would be healthy necessarily. They're learning how to temper this. They're learning how to do this balance. And you can be an example of it, but their journey is their journey, and they're learning a lot from themselves. And this is where they're at currently in their thoughts, and what they're thinking, and where they're at, where their challenges, and you are mirroring this. They're learning from you. When you learn something, they learn it. When you become capable of something, they are able to become capable of it if they reach for it too. In their feelings right now, they're wanting to attract this family vibe, this peaceful, grounded, making memories, tranquility, abundance. They're feeling grateful for your assistance in learning this, because it is helping them break free of being trapped. But they're also very grateful for that connection to an awareness of divine. And if that is, manifesting for them in their higher self, it's allowing them to see the truth amongst the deception, amongst the illusion, and it's allowing them to know which among the 7 swords is the Ace of Swords. It's allowing them to see that little piece of truth, because like in any deception or lie, there's at least any good one where you find yourself a little befuddled, right? Kind of like that board game where you're like, who killed so and so in the library, and then you're like, well, did they kill him with the candlestick? Or you got to like do this process of elimination. They are able to find that truth amongst the lies, and this may be something that they don't necessarily want others to know yet, or they are figuring it out, but those that are casting the illusion or the deception don't realize that they've been found out. But they know that this is something that needs to come to light in the present, because they're receptive to co-creating. They're receptive to the connection, to the intimacy, to the happiness that they know will come when you combine your strengths together, when you work together and share and learn from one another. Because they're already learning, because they have a lot of emotion. They're already learning how much power is within them to manifest, and that it's not to be feared, because you've demonstrated consistently, and they have learned from their higher self, their connection with divine, consistently, that this is definitely something that is possible. The real test in the feeling is something that it came up in the general reading, which is the surrender, the releasing of the control, of knowing that one sword among the 7 of swords, the one amongst them that is the Ace of Swords, knowing that path is the path, regardless of the 6 other swords and what they were trying to, convince them is the truth, they are releasing control of needing to justify why to the other six swords. They know their path. They know what makes them happy, what brings them joy, what allows their energy to feel like it can expand. What the truth is love. They've recognized what this is. So they have released control because they're releasing control to love. Because in love is where the divine is. Love is the language of the divine. It's universal. Okay. And their current actions, they know that they're acting from a space of being wounded and having trauma and having some insecurities, and they're kind of tackling these emotions and these thoughts, and they know that they have the strength and the abundance to overcome, because you've walked this path, and they can learn from you, and they can share what they have learned. And with you, they know that they have something to contribute that's of equal weight and importance to you, that is left in a state of being unhealed, that you can only heal when you come together, because you guys are very strong individuals. Very strong individuals. I mean, we have the Temperance card placed here. Like, there is so much presence of divine, so much presence of love within this reading. And this is for the feminine to understand a bit more of what's going on in the masculine. There's a lot of emotion that they may not know how to label. And a lot of it is, it's very positive, but it can be very scary for them because it's pretty intense. And they may find themselves mislabeling some of this intense emotion as part of trauma, as part of a trauma response, right? A defense mechanism. When in reality, the intense emotion that they're experiencing is actually a very positive one, and rarely can ever be inspired in anyone. It is a blessing, which they're feeling grateful for this. So it tells me that they're realizing this, or they have already. The light has gone on in front of them. Oh, I get it now. They're acting from a space of awareness of how their wounding and their trauma is currently something that is impacting them, and they're working with as they come closer and closer to you. As you learn and grow and heal, they can too as well, thus coming closer and closer to union within self, to the phrase of, how can you love someone when you do not love yourself? It starts with acceptance, for one, taking an honest look in the mirror and being willing to actually see what's there and consciously choose to heal and release and let go, or make a couple tweaks here or there. Like, you can create who you want to be, but you have to know where you are first. So in and amongst that, the advice here in this position definitely is, when you find yourself in these states where you're aware of this, instead of you like, oh man, that was so heavy, I didn't want to think about that, I didn't want to remember that, I didn't want to feel that. Instead of really being very focused on the what you don't want, flip it 180 degrees. So when you've gone through something like that, I know it's really hard. I know, because I've lived some of these things. It is very hard in that moment. But to ground yourself back in that truth that love is the only thing that is real. It's the only thing that is true. Is what you're experiencing in that moment love? It's a re-traumatization if you choose to let it be. Okay, so yes, you're reliving something that was dark. You're having a bit of a sample of it. Okay. Choose to frame it instead of an I'm being re-traumatized. Choose to reframe it as I've been given an opportunity to heal this piece of what's in that frame. In this piece, I'm grateful I get to heal this. I have the opportunity to connect to that feeling and to consciously choose how I want to tell this story to myself about how I relate to this aspect now, not living in how I related to it before. This is going to lighten things up because you're going to be like, I'm so glad that I processed that. I don't have to process it again. I'm lighter. I'm freer. I can be more silly and embrace that inner child and find the fun and laugh a little bit more and to approach it from that perspective. It's kind of like after you have a really, really good cry, how you just feel so light. That kind of a thing, but to varying degrees depending on your situation. It is that releasing of it that allows you to lighten up. Lighten that load, take off all that weight holding you down. And this is their current action. This is where they are. And if you're doing this too, because you're mirroring one another, you're only helping them help you, and they're helping you help them. It's a real like roundabout. All right, so going into what they want to do. Oof. I think they want to just, yeah. Okay, so they want to let this karmic situation, whatever it may be, it could be family, it could be a partner, it could be both, it could be a lot of things. They're seeing how a lot of elements around them have actually kept them in a state of Eight of Swords, but because they're learning so much from you, they're able to see how much is not legitimately truth. And in that, they now see a lot of the elements around them in a state of being unhealed, of being somewhatly karmic. So they're wanting to either assist them, these elements, in understanding that they're in an unhealed state by reflecting that to them, telling them, showing them, demonstrating, living, walking their talk, right? They're wanting to remove this element from their life, which means to some extent they need to help those around them that say, oh, what if they have children, for example? You're not going to, that's their kid. That's their child. And if their child is struggling with something, say, maybe there's another adult in their world. Maybe the child's in between. Like, whatever the dynamic may be, they're not going to just abandon the people that they claim as theirs. So they're going to want to help them. The only way that they can really do that is, one, if these individuals around them are open to growing and evolving and changing from living in deception to living in truth. So they want to teach, they want to speak words that heal, that help. They want to impact. They want to have your help in that. I mean, this particular aspect here speaks to Gemini, and that speaks to two parties. They want your partnership in this and helping that come into being. Okay. So for your advice, this is specific for you. Your advice, we have the World. Okay. So we have the Strength card here inverted, and then we have the Empress upright. So your advice is to challenge yourself to see the world as they experience the world. So your strength in helping them will be found in doing a handstand and walking around, walking on your hands. That's how their world is. So you're going to be, maybe you live in an environment that is just filled with peace. You know, when you're not transmuting something or healing something, you're living in an environment that you feel safe in, that you feel peaceful in. Their norm may be the exact opposite of that. Their norm may be chaos. So your advice is to try to see the world through their eyes and to present this in a way. For example, nobody wants unsolicited advice from anyone. If you seek it, you seek it. If it resonates, great. If it doesn't, But nobody wants unsolicited advice. So your strength is also in the abundance of patience that you exercise, because this may not be something that is going to, come to a conclusion in a week. I mean, we're talking about a lot of individuals possibly around this person that they're wanting help to help them heal and grow and see the world in a different way, in a different light. So you owning your Empress energy is not necessarily going to be, I have a lot of money, I have a lot of physical abundance. You may have that, but the real power, like they talk about going into this, this new world, this 5D earth, right? That the actual wealth, the actual currency is love, is karma, is positive karma, right? So the Empress energy here in this new cycle is going to represent, or is going to be shown through you as patience. You're not going to push your advice on them. They may open up, start talking about a couple things, and then you will need to be impeccable with your word. You will need to be very careful what you say, not because you could say the wrong thing and bad things, no, but because you know how important what you say is and how important they are to you. You care so much that you do not want to hurt them. However, this is mirrored in this strength. They are used to walking around thinking that walking on their hands upside down is the way everybody walks, is the way you see the world. And now they're going to be upright, or, vice versa. They are understanding that seeing the world, looking at the world, analyzing the world from your perspective is bringing more balance into their life, and that can help those around them. they, I don't know how to put this, the right words. The abundance present within you to not push, to not manipulate, because that'll come across as manipulation. If they know that you're careful with them, that they matter, that if they come to you with anything, that you respect that what they're showing you is a vulnerability they don't show just anyone. And you're abundant in yourself. You don't necessarily need them to validate you. The concept that sometimes when you care about someone, you tell them the thing that they don't want to hear, but they really need to. And it's because you care. It's like someone walking around with, like a bit of salad in their teeth. You're the person that would point it out because you'd want someone to do it for you. Now, that doesn't mean that you're going to do that lightly. You're going to tell them the truth if they ask, right? So that's important. They need to show that they are receptive to what you have to say. And you may need to, at times, straight up say, are you sure you want me to answer this question? Because I'm going to give you the truth as I see it. I'm not going to, I respect you enough to not water it down, right? To not sugarcoat it for you. I respect you as an equal, right? Your Empress energy is demanding that they come to you with their Emperor energy. And this is how there's that connection. Like if you look at the concept of being standing upright, right? And then to the other perspective of walking around on your hands and you're upside down, that becomes that bridge between the upper, the lower, the 5D Gaia, right? This is something that is modeled, but you need to bring your Empress energy, that patience, that receptive patience, to being bubbly, happy, sweet, but deep, honest, truthful, careful with their feelings when they ask these questions. Not pushing, not trying to sell them on something, right? To, really take some time to reflect on your priorities when it comes to everything that's been covered in this particular reading. How would you want to be treated? And then if you do that with them, when they, come to you about something, and maybe they don't understand, so then you can explain, right? It's a teaching of each other, really. And identifying that priority of how would you like to be communicated to, treated, how would you like this explained to you, right? Okay, and the most likely outcome here, excuse me, my voice. This is really interesting. In the most likely outcome, we have pretty much where we started with this concept of being bound and trapped and all this deception and right? They're not giving to that. They are not actively giving emotionally to those situations anymore. They are not engaging. They are not playing anymore with the 6 deceptive swords. They are only working with that one Ace of Swords. And this is allowing them to will, to consciously choose within themselves, unified, what they want to give to, what they choose to give to. And this is going to this is going to be some times where things are pretty intense, because If you live in a world of relative peace and tranquility and serenity, they live in a world of chaos and emotional, tumultuous experiences. So you're going to need to breathe through that. And then they may not be the kindest. They're going to be emotional. Like this is speaking to me a lot of like Scorpio energy. And by that, I don't mean the astrological sign is necessarily of importance other than the energy of it, which is emotional, yet spicy, if you will. Passionate. Oh my gosh, so much passion. To the point that they could burn themselves, and they're a water sign, right? So, I mean, Scorpio may be of interest to you, but it's more of that relationship to emotion and action. To breathe through those moments where they are emotional and a bit intense, and to use it as a teaching moment, not to shove it in their face, not to preach it, to walk it, to demonstrate it, to use that moment to reaffirm for yourself that you got this, that you have you under control. You're holding yourself down, right? And then that modeling is showing them how someone will take the time to make the effort to set their ego down. Because these situations that may come up could very well be ego-based. And they maybe have never seen someone go, you know what, you matter more to me than being defensive about this right now. You matter more. They maybe have never seen that. And that statement alone could have a huge impact. You don't need to do any more than that. Because to do any more than that is to push. And if there is one thing that we know, because this person is mirroring you. And I mean, I'm going to speak, just like for me here, like if this energy were mirroring me, I wouldn't want to be pushed if I was already in, that emotional state. That would be a door shut, goodbye, bridge burned. But I mean, to varying degrees, right? The situation, varying degrees of intensity. So it's enough to model it, to say what it is to you, and then leave it. That is teaching by walking your talk. Oh man, I walked the line with Witherspoon. Reese Witherspoon. That movie just came to mind. Yeah. That may be a synchronicity for some people. Being that Scorpio came out here in this reading, I'll let you know the other signs that came through. We have Aries, Taurus, Leo, Gemini, Aquarius, and, Scorpio. I think that this being the outcome is beautiful in that they are finding freedom from this, and from them finding freedom, they are able to help others find their way. You found your way partially because of definitely. There's no way to go around it. You found your way because in many ways this person perfectly triggered you to heal, to overcome, and is still doing that. You together can make such a positive impact in so many lives. Even if you never meet some of these individuals. All right, that is the reading for you guys today. I do hope that you guys found some insight and some validation of your own intuition as well going through this. The divine in me honors the divine in you. Namaste.